Alright, the one and only Sophia Smith, episode 003. I question everything. Alright, so what's good, cuz? How are you feeling?
Um, I don't know. I feel how you feel. I'm just kidding.
Alright, good point, good point. What you feeling?
What do you? I know you are, but what am I? It's not working. I don't
No,
know how you feeling.
no, that makes a good point. That makes a good point. Like how we feel is the same, but what we feel might differ.
What? How's that? Oh, I see what you're saying.
Where should we kick this thing off?
You tell me, Vic.
What about abortion, since it starts with a?
Oh, all right. What about it?
Well, we left off talking about how like we think rape is one of the only reasons to get an abortion. So we could just expand on that.
Um, I guess. I would say that rape qualifies as the absolute most understandable reason to get an abortion. But me personally, would be my only reason. And if like someone else got it because they can't afford a child, they don't have a partner, they don't have a good enough job, like if their resources aren't in a place where they feel like they could raise a child, I don't judge them for that. Like, I just personally wouldn't do it myself. I would try to figure out a way, but I I also think it's pretty crappy when children have to be brought up in homes that don't want them. Like, I didn't even plan on having you, but I have you. Those kids end up messed up. Those kids sometimes end up in foster homes. Like, their lives aren't always the greatest, but yes, there are some who make it out and have a wonderful life. But the reason why someone has an abortion, I'm not going to be judgmental on it because I don't know their circumstance. And yeah, of course, wrap it up, get on birth control or like don't have sex, but the reality is people are going to do it. And so if that's a way to save a mother's mental health because having a child, she could have postpartum depression, she might not be able to handle it, she might take her own life, she might take her own life and the child's life, or that child just has a really crappy life because the mother doesn't even take care of the kid because she doesn't have the right resources. So the rape thing, for sure, for sure, for sure, but under, like, other circumstances, I'm still very understanding of it, but again, I personally wouldn't do that.
So you said it's like the reality of the situation, and that one's a tough one because I just don't know if I agree with that. If that has to be the reality, like you said, people don't have to have sex in the first place, and yeah, just because of your lack of control, that doesn't mean that you should get off. For me, that doesn't mean that someone then has the right to kill an unborn baby. It's like that thing like where you have train tracks and you're on one end and there's like four people on the other and you decide to pull the lever just to like save your own skin.
So why is it okay to kill the baby if it's rape?
Because that was somebody forcing themselves onto you. And yes, I can, like, the only thing that I could possibly say as of right now would be like the lotus thing, where like a lotus grows out of the mud. So something as disgusting as that can still bring a positive in some crooked,
Yeah.
yeah, way. Um,
So then if that child most likely is unwanted, correct? A rape baby, you would say, is probably an unwanted pregnancy.
like the mother wasn't intending to get pregnant,
Yeah.
or the guy wasn't intending on,
Well,
yeah,
I mean, I guess
coming
the
inside.
guy could have been trying to
Pull
impregnate
out.
her. Yeah, he could have been trying to impregnate, but most likely you'd consider it an unwanted pregnancy, right?
Yeah, like it wasn't intended for that to happen. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
if you somebody drugs you and you don't have any recollection of it, then
Yeah. So with that, a person, like two consenting adults who have sex and
mm-hmm,
they are very aware that, yeah, we might have a child if
mm-hmm,
we don't use protection,
mm-hmm.
which again is not
Or even when you do
sure, I guess.
use protection, you
Yeah, it could still happen. So there can still be an unwanted pregnancy. Therefore, that child is not wanted. And I think since love is so important, like love is, I feel like the above all, like it is the most important thing. But being an unwanted child out of an unwanted pregnancy, like I don't see where that kid will have everything they need. So it seems unfair to have to bring them in this world, and a mother and maybe that partner or whatever, like they're just like, we didn't even want you, but we have you. Like, go to your room. Like, to not even feel loved because you weren't wanted, you weren't planned, you weren't part of their plan. Like, I understand killing is so wrong, but I think it seems really wrong because there's a lot of parents who are like that, who treat their kids like, I don't even know why I have you. Can't wait till you're 18, leave my house. Like, that to me sounds just as bad as killing it. Like, this person's living in a world unloved by the people who created them.
I mean, y'all can give me the rape babies then and the unwanted babies, because there are also strangers that love you even though you're not like theirs, and there's strangers that always do acts of kindness that way. And I wouldn't say like they're unwanted totally. Like, our exist, and this is like when we can get back into the thick of it, which is everything's everything. And I was just kind of saying that today. I was like, how can I even want more when I already do have everything? So I think it's also a mindset.
I don't understand the wanting more when you already have everything. Like, with how that works out with the babies.
Because you're saying they might not have everything, but given that they have life and you wake up, I think that you have everything. I think that you won the lottery, so to speak. Like, there's no probability to predict our existence. Our existence isn't just some whim, it's not just some accident. Like, it needs to be like thought, I don't know, I think it should be thought of as just a gift. Because again,
Mhm.
like, yeah, who would want to be, like God hand chose us, handpicked us. Like, when you have
Yeah.
life and you're above ground, then you're winning, you're doing good, because the only other alternative to this is nothing. So do you, like, are you going to choose everything, or are you going to choose nothing?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just don't think it's my place to be judgmental in the fact of somebody having a situation where they have an abortion, because I feel like I'm manipulating the system, because abortions were given to us scientifically. They figured out how to do that. and sometimes they need to happen. Okay, the rape thing, but sometimes women need to have abortions because but like a faulty pregnancy or it's in the wrong fallopian tube and things like that. So there's reasons why abortions happen. And for me to be like, I don't think you should be able to do that. Like, I feel like I'm manipulating a situation that they should have the choice
Mm-hmm.
themselves. Because again, like I said, I wouldn't make that choice, but I shouldn't have to say, you don't have the choice anymore. Like, I want people to make the choice. Obviously, I'd prefer them to keep a child over killing a child, but I do not want to force anybody into saying, you must keep this child. I think they should have that free will, and I hope that they would keep the baby. That's just how I feel. Like, keep abortions. Just have good friends in your life that can help you, or good people around you that can support you and let you know, like, hey, I'm here for you if you feel like it's gonna be hard, like things like that.
So, so this is what I have written down. Like, these individuals had a choice to have or not have sex. We're already getting on that. Only exception is when an individual did not have a choice, which is forced and
Hmm.
equal to rape. And then I have number one, don't have sex in the first place. Other ways to get off. What I need, and then this is when I get into this like philosophical word game. What do I need to come for when I'm already here now? Like,
Yeah.
it's the, and then this is also where I would say like I don't have a choice. Like, that's what I was wanting to ask you too. Like, should the man just stay out of it completely because the man already had a choice whether to pull out, wear protection, or not have sex at all? So once I pass the baton to you, then like I should just be out of it. So I already know that as a man, that I already have a choice and the power is in my hands to not do that in the first place. So I have no opinion in this at all because I had the choice first and now I passed it on to you. So what should I even be saying anything for? You get what I'm saying?
Yes. I'm so happy you said that because I don't think a lot of people realize that. Like, the men have so much power in the choices of like wrapping it up, or like is this woman truly on birth control, is she taking it consistent, like that man has the ultimate choice. Like, if he wraps his willy versus I'm just going to put it in there, like, he's in control. The woman can't have the eggs and the sperm. She needs the man. And if they want to have sex and he's like, well, I don't want to wear a condom, then the woman needs to say, well, then we don't have sex. Vice versa. If the man's like, you know, I want to wear a condom and like, or whatever, like it, it's so, I feel like it's so on the woman all the time. Like, well, you should have been on birth control. But it's like the man doesn't have to have sex with this woman. So the man really needs to have self control and be able to turn down a woman if she's like, I don't want to use a condom. Like, then don't have sex with this woman. I don't care how good it feels. Don't have sex with her then. Because when there's a baby, then that's the problem, and then it's like all on the woman, and I hate that.
Yeah, just to reiterate that I agree that it's the woman's choice at that point about whether or not to have an abortion or not because I was the first runner out the gate and I chose to pass the baton or I messed up and dropped it or whatever it might be. And yeah, so that's was my number two reason. It's the man job's to pull out, ensure a baby's not made. So regardless, mother now has a choice to reverse that man's decision because the man did have because the man had the choice to nut in or out. So men need to stay out of it. It's not our decision anymore. Plus, not our body. However, then again, like I agree with that, but now it goes into the nudity situation and we can, however, then again we have nudity as a public indecency law and my body my choice doesn't seem to be accurate. When you don't get to do what you want with it, it's really not your
Uh,
body, yet I have to sit here now wearing clothes or otherwise you all, as in someone, will get righteous and condemnation to lock me up, throw me in a cell. Is that correct? And so you see all these hypocrisies that we live with in this kind of going back to the whole thing, are we in purgatory? Where are we? What is this? Did I do something wrong in my previous life? Or is this a gift kind of thing? Um, and yet here we have sexism at full throttle because men can have a shirt off, but women who actually have a purpose to be topless, in some cases feeding our children, yet guys whose nipples don't do anything are allowed to, just flaunt it at their own choice and prerogative. So right there you have blatant sexism. I remember growing up, I remember being like in first or second grade, and I was running around outside without my shirt on, and then one of the girls that like I was playing with, her mom, comes out and is like storming out, "Hey, come get your shirt on," and stuff like that. And I was always like, "Oh well, at least it's not me." So like I had like a selfish thought there, and I didn't really understand why she had to put a shirt on, and I guess I still don't to some degree. And talk about victimless crimes. So law is not even about the morality, it's not even about right or wrong. It's simply a fall in line and do what one says or is told. And that's the whole thing about questioning authority. Because when you tell me how high, when you tell me to jump, I say how high. So this is where the questioning comes in line and how powerful it is. Also, another wordplay game, like you're on a streak. Streak is to be on a roll. Streaking is to be nude. Um, as a man, you should not pick someone. You should have picked someone else to have sex with and asked beforehand whether this woman would decide to keep it or not. So don't go crying about she doesn't want to keep the baby. You had your choice and she gets hers. Rape, yeah, if you force yourself on someone, then this does seem to be the only exception. Incest, we talked about in our previous one, like, didn't we all come from one source? So aren't we all family anyway? And what is incest? Sex with family. Also, those that are having sex by incest, still have the option to have sex or not. So not even that should be an exception. And then I go on to talk about like the assumption of the risk, which is like if you go to a basketball game or a baseball game, you don't get to sue that person that hit the ball and cause bodily harm to you because you knew the risk going into it. So we all have an ideal that when you get pregnant, that there is risk on the mother about that this could go wrong and it could cost me my life. So if we are following the law and that line of thinking, then that pertains to this. However, and I talk about the railroad scenario. To save your life, you turn the train to go down another track, but you are the one that put that person on the other side of the track. What do you think about all that? Do you add to it, leave it as is, change something, agree?
Okay, the clothing, I think with that, I think clothes are also like protection. I know people have STDs, and I honestly wouldn't want to sit in a chair naked. Um, I think clothes are also safety.
So to add on to this, since we're on this one right now, what is it about there being porn, and what about strip clubs? How come these things are legal? Because it feels, well, is there a disconnect between these two thinkings with, and then to go further, like it's only right to be nude when you're doing it for money. You see what I'm saying? What do you think about those falling into the nudity category?
Well, for the nudity thing, I think like there are women who get raped, and as messed up as our culture is, people will be like, "Well, what were you wearing?" And it could be a woman in a short skirt. So imagine if we had naked women and naked men everywhere. I would think maybe women would get raped even more because if they are already getting raped for wearing skimpy clothing, imagine being naked.
Yeah, so I get what you're saying. I remember having that wrong type of thinking too, where I saw that like one of the women um, had like nothing on or had painted herself or whatever, and on her belly was still that said still not asking for it. And I didn't even understand that until I had that 2020 episode that I could be wearing nothing and not wanting to do any of that. So I think I also had like, yeah, just what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, that's accurate. Like, just when you take a shower, does that mean you wanna have sex? Like, because 'cause you're naked? No. You're not asking for it just by being in the nude, like, you're asking for it by actually going to a person and, like, showing using verbal cues or body cues, like, that is the thing. That's how you communicate sex, but it sounds like there's a lot of men who do there are women who rape too, but the percent is higher with men. There's a lot of men who lack self-control, and in a world where we still are clothed human beings, there are people still getting raped. So I can only imagine a naked world and men not having the self-control and still doing that as much and yeah, and saying, "Well, your nipples were hard, say it was cold outside. I thought you wanted me." And it's like, "I didn't want you because my hard nipples, I'm freezing cold."
Yeah, and to add to that is it shouldn't be our job to like control one another. It shouldn't be my job to lessen the temptation on you. And also like we might see that spike in rape happen, but then I feel like after a while it would drop off because you'd just be like, oh, there's like another nude person. But because like we have clothes on, then it adds like the mysterious factor to it. Yeah, what do you think?
No, I get what you're saying. Like, I think the normalization, like, if we were always nude, it'd be so normal and we'd get used to seeing it, so maybe you wouldn't be so turned on all the time because you're just used to it. But I think there's some people who deal with mental illness, and sometimes that is, pedophiles and little children, and therefore, to protect them, I think it's just safer for people to wear clothes because there are people who are mentally ill, and no matter what, they will still want to do those things, and it might just be even easier.
And like, though, wouldn't that lead like? And I'm not saying that wearing clothes is wrong. I'm just saying the fact that we tell somebody to wear clothes, then that I think that was the first inch that was taken from us, and now we've gone so far down this road that we're miles down it. And so I like am trying to get it all. I tried to get it all back on 2020 like all at once, but maybe we do have to get it back inch by inch because we went so far in the wrong direction. And yeah, I would say that wouldn't that be like a detection sign though? Like if that pedophile was nude and you like saw them like getting hard out of nowhere, then you would just be able to tell, or are they able to hide behind their clothing in a way because of that?
Well, I mean, the thing about the body is, like, there are times I don't have a wiener, but there are times when bodies can just react out of nowhere. Like, again, I don't have a wiener, but like waking up with a hard whatever and like things like that when you're a young boy having puberty and you just get them like I again just because you may have an erection doesn't mean you want to have sex with the person in front of you. Like again, like it still needs to be communicated and you need to have that understanding between the two people. And so yeah, I guess wearing clothes it could hide stuff, but not wearing clothes, I think it makes the access even easier because you could have a person carrying a child and slip fingers in there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's protection. It's protection from the cold weather, it's protection from the sun, it's protection from STDs, and it's just protection to not have to show our body and maybe can make people feel comfortable because some people don't like their bodies.
So, what do you think about the whole thing then that women have to wear shirts but men don't? What is that about?
I think that's just because we actually have boobs, which, like, I understand we both have nipples, but I think having, like, the chest pieces that are sexualized, I think that's why they have to be covered up. Because a male chest isn't necessarily sexualized, it's just that their wiener is sexualized. Like, I'm not gonna get turned on, well, I guess you can get turned on by anything, but looking at a male chest isn't gonna do the same as looking at a female pair of boobs.
So, it is the nipple though that we like cover up because Miley Cyrus went on Jimmy Kimmel and she had nipple pasties on and she was allowed to go on there like that. And she was talking about the same thing, like she didn't have anything else on, no bra, no shirt, just the nipple pasties to say it again, which is the whole thing that has to be covered up then. So what does that explain? We both have nipples, but like you're saying, you have more uh you have more have breasts and you have like the milk glands in there or whatever. And so but it's still like the nipple that's like, I mean, what line of thinking is this? Like what, it just seems like such a bizarro world to me. I don't, what, do you see what I'm saying? Did you ever see that episode with Jimmy Kimmel with Miley Cyrus on there?
I never saw the episode, but I actually have someone that had to have a mastectomy and her breast removed. And you have the choice of having like reconstruction or, you can keep your nipples or, not have nipples. She has no boobs and no nipples. And she walks around without a shirt. And she has a lot of people talk crap on her. Like, she has a big social media following and she loves her body. She's a piece of art. She has tattoos all over her. And she was like, why can't I wear, like, why do I have to wear a shirt? I don't even have nipples and men have nipples. And for me, yeah, I guess it is the nipples that women nipples must be more sexualized than male nipples because she has a flat nothing, just tattoos, and people will freak out and tell her to put a shirt on.
What's the name of this person? Who is this?
Her name is Marissa Kimmel, and I used to go to elementary school with her. She also has alopecia. Let me show you.
You said Marissa. What's her last name?
Kimmel, Kimmel.
Whoa, yo, that's weird. I just said Jimmy Kimmel and you just said Kimmel.
Oh, that is weird. Like, I don't know if you can. I hate this. Hold on. How do I get rid of my background? Background.
I
Nothing.
can try to, I'll Google it too and I can, yeah.
Yeah,
Good for her.
nothing. No nipples. What? And like, she has alopecia, so she
What's
doesn't have.
alopecia?
So like, she like doesn't have eyebrows, doesn't have eyelashes, doesn't have hair. Like, your hair falls out. You start like just going bald and stuff. So she just spreads awareness about like her having, because she had a high chance of having cancer. So she got her breast removed and like I think I don't know, uterus or whatever that stuff down there. And so she just like talks about it. She's like, I'm a woman and I love who I am and I don't have hair because I have alopecia and this is my body and like I'm just going to be myself and I love it and it's crazy because people are so mean and they think she's transgender and it's like yeah, people say she wants attention, and I'm like, she spreads awareness and she loves her body, and if you have a problem with it, then there's something probably wrong with you.
Oh, yeah. That definitely, yeah, that makes me feel. We have uh yeah, it's a real message. I think that was a good wrap up right there. To tie that all together, she just did that for us. So appreciate you. Shout out Marissa Kimmel. Yeah, cause yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's just not. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I can't say it any better than that. That's perfect. Yikes, yo. Because any of us though try to do that, yeah, we're going to get a misdemeanor. We'll go to jail. We'll be labeled sex offenders, pedophilers, and that's not the intention. It's for us to be free. Guess all we have is our response, like Viktor Frankl said. So, oh goodness. Where do we go from here?
I think you said something about uh
Well, we
you
can.
mentioned something about porn.
Yep. The porn and the strip clubs. I was just as soon as you
Yeah.
said something like, so why is that okay? When like, it just seems like it ties back to the money and like, and this ties back to the Bible, which is that it's the root of all kinds of evil. So I'm getting hung up on the word all when it could have said partial root of evils. It could have been the some root of evils, but it specifically said the all. It specifically says all, which is why I go back to the Bible is just a story and it's not supposed to be it's not supposed to be like the dogma, the end all be all. I mean, it doesn't even have math in it. It didn't even tell us how to have math equations and stuff.
I'm trying to look different Bible versions of it.
Okay, and that actually hits on another
So
point that the Bible's not even a standard. It doesn't even have a standard. It changes. Yikes. And that's why I think it's lying. That's the root of all evil. Like, and I am going to use the Bible just because it's like one of the most well-known stories in the world. And I think people are getting caught up on the fact of whether the Bible's fact or fiction, like that, like parsing it out, whether it's fact or fantasy. But that's beside the point, because the point is that it's the moral that counts and the lessons that you take from it versus getting hung up on whether, like, this is the truth, like that kind of thing. Does that make sense? Do you have any thoughts on that? Any thinking on that?
you're trying to say that people press the Bible as if it is the only truth, you're saying?
Yes. Yeah. And because another example is I ask this one person like about Santa Claus and like lying, and then their rebuttal to that was, well, I tell them the true story of Jesus Christ, as though like eating broccoli after you eat a donut is gonna cancel that out or something. Like, what do you think about that? And like, this goes to yeah. What do you think about that?
I mean, I just think there's a lot of things where we need to just be less judgmental, because if that's what they think, like if they believe in Jesus and they want to share the story of Jesus, that's awesome. But if they want their kids to have a fun Christmas and like and think Santa's real, I don't think anything's really wrong with that. Like I think as a kid you need to have fun and have imagination and things like that, but also knowing the story of Jesus because it's his birthday is obviously the most important. Like that is what Christmas is. But having Santa as this fake person who comes into, I think it makes things fun for little children. So I don't know, I just don't really see the harm in that lie because it's fun. Like it can cause fun. Like it doesn't necessarily cause harm. I don't think.
So like, do you remember then when you first found out Santa wasn't real? Oh, and I can actually.
Yeah, you told me. You did.
I did really. Oh, that's wild.
Good old cousin Vic knew.
So here's where this gets scary though, is that in second grade, this one person told the class that Santa wasn't real, and we ostracized. I didn't ostracize. I was basically a part of it because I didn't step in and say, "Yo, we shouldn't make fun of her." So in that regard, I was guilty. But every like the people in the class were like, "You're stupid. You're this," like ostracizing this person and alienating this person. So the moral is that when you do try to tell the truth, you can see how like somebody will get it, like somebody will attack you to protect a lie. You see what I'm getting at?
The children, like you didn't know that Santa wasn't real at that time, right?
Yep, I didn't know.
Yeah. So that was still your truth, which it wasn't the truth, but it's okay, first off, it's wrong to just pick and make fun and ostracize and bully someone. So no matter what the situation was, you knew what you're doing was wrong. And then also that was your truth. So for you to defend it, where if you could have just said like, no, Santa's real, like that is what you thought. And then also this girl who knew the truth, one, her parents or whoever told her should have let her know, like, hey, a lot of children still believe this, so you shouldn't ruin it for everyone else who may not. Like, it's not your place to tell these children. Like, it's not.
So is it not our place to even be doing this, what we're doing, and trying to enlighten people? And like, was Albert Einstein pissed when he gave the E equals MC squared to America to blow up Hiroshima and Nagasaki with the atomic bomb? Should he not have even told them that? Should we not even be saying anything then? Because like, there should be nothing wrong with wanting to tell the truth, even though it might ruin their imagination. Like, life's already wonderful, mystical, magical place. We don't know what we're doing here. So it's already built into life itself. You don't have to put another layer on it with lies. The truth is stranger than fiction. What do you have to say to all that?
I think that's true. I think, I mean, as an adult, I don't think there's anything wrong with us sharing the truth. Again, if you're going to tell a lie and it's for fun and it's excitement for children, I don't think there's anything wrong. Like throwing a surprise party, you might tell your son, like, hey, we're going to get pizza, it's just going to be the two of us, and really you have 10 kids from school there and you just lied to him. But it's like it wasn't a harmful lie if it brought joy and excitement. Like I think those are two different lies that we're talking about, in two different truths, I guess. Like, I think as an adult, the things we're speaking on are very important truths. But in a child's life, and when you're supposed to have fun and thrill, like, I don't think Santa is a bad lie for them to experience.
So even in the word Santa, it's an anagram for Satan. It has all the same makings of the word Satan. Is that coincident? Like a purposeful coincidence? Like to
So
say,
yeah,
because
there's
then
no
you're
coincidences, right?
there are coincidences, but they're purposefully put there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's cool. Like I feel like that's such a crazy thought I never even realized. And the thing about it with you saying that you don't want the Bible to be like the truth, but if you are a Christian, then it is the truth. And
It's not that I don't want
if
it to be the truth, but it's like it's not the truth if it's gonna say different things like the root of all evil is money. That could be interpreted as like money is a lie, but it said it in a roundabout way. And it could also, if it was the truth and people really took the time to get that, then it would just say greed is the root of all evil, because greed is the love of money. So why wouldn't you be more why wouldn't the Bible be concise, be brevity, put it into the smallest form possible? That's to get the simple message out. It's little things like that that you can tell that there's like something not right and all truthful and all encompassing about the Bible. Like even when I hear like women say he will save us, our father, like completely cut out the mother, completely cut out the daughter, not even in the Trinity. Like it's just it's like, dude, women bear children, bringing people into this world. It's almost like a brainwashing tactic to me and like a subliminal hit, because God was made in, or we're made in God's image. So that person should be saying, she will save us, she will do this, but it's almost like a hypnotizing method also. And because people are not, it seems like some people are not able to let go of their belief in such a founded way that they're willing to go over to war, holy wars. And that's the whole thing about like the lies have to be shrouded in like gold and fancy objects, because otherwise it wouldn't be sold. What do you think?
um the okay, so before it says the root of evil, whatever. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and the snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. I don't even know what perdition is. And I don't know, I think for you, you're just so stuck in the like in this context, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Like I think you're just too stuck on that. Like the Bible has so many other words and phrases and thoughts, and I don't necessarily think like that little section is supposed to be like so like
It's
fret
yeah,
upon, I
is
guess.
yeah. It's not even that though. It's like in the Garden of Eden too, like where Eve is before, but they say like Adam was first, but Christmas Eve is the day before Christmas, and so maybe Eve was the first one in the garden. Like I'm just trying to, honestly, yeah, probably poke holes in the argument and ask questions about what is it doing being this way. Um, because you see people just get so stuck up on the whole Bible itself. And they're not, and like another thing is like the Adam's apple. So we ate, like men have Adam's apple, but where is the woman's apple? So did she get rid of it in the garden? Like did she, was she able to swallow it and like get rid of the evidence?
I don't know. I feel like these are things like I think it's fun to have a thought of these things, like for sure. But I think they're just not things to be stuck on because like what is it? Like there's something in our body that we have that people get removed and you don't need it. Your
Spleen, gallbladder.
appendix. We have an appendix. Some people get sick and have to have it removed and they function just fine. Like, why do we have them then? Why are we even built? Why is it in our bodies if we don't even need it? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the whole Adam's apple, like, I guess we just women didn't need them. Like, I just feel like we shouldn't be like, we can question everything. I love it. It can be fun, but it also can be, I think it can cause, like, so much rabbit holing that's, like, not very helpful, because, again, I could be like, "Why do we have appendixes? But it's okay to get it removed." Like, if I wanna lose weight, I should just say, "Hey, I don't feel good," and they'll take it out, and maybe I'll lose 5 pounds. Like, why do we have it?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So I need to like keep it practical and give practical advice to people that because it's like, what does it even matter? But I guess I'm saying like, I think then that the Bible contributes to sexism in a way, and it's one of the straws, and that's how we get rid of it.
Okay, I think that's more fair to say that, like, the understanding of, you're like, okay, women birth people, they should have more representation, like, it shouldn't just be God the Father, it should be, like,
Equal
God the
representation.
woman, like, I totally get that, but I don't necessarily think I agree with it in the facts of that's where it starts, making the problems with women being, like, not treated as well as men. Like, I don't think it starts from that. I think it came from somewhere else.
Yeah, and I guess it's just about we're never gonna extinguish hate all of the way, but I would like to make it as like little as possible, and I think that's one of the ways. And um, so yeah, like I love the Bible. Like I get what it's doing. And like another thing that I want to make practical then is the use of our words because the first sin in the Bible is lying. I'm pretty sure, which was the snake lying to Adam and Eve to trick them into doing that. And so I'm just saying all lies are not good. Like there's not a lie that's good. The truth will always set you free. So just Santa Claus to me is also another way for us to get on the right track. Like we just went through COVID. Like I'm not gonna forget that. And we all got trapped in our house and they were all people are lying to us. Like I hardly made it out of that. And like we didn't have to wear masks and the whole reason about that was like was that just another piece of clothing and that's why we were upset because we already know like we don't need clothing, like we're able to survive in extreme harsh weather now, or like if it's a summer day and we go out, like we don't need clothes for shelter. So it's just simply going back to everybody's telling each other what to do even though we know that we don't know. But and the whole thing about Santa, that's where you get like these bigger conspiracy theories because we're singling out a certain section of the group which was kids, and like we hire fake actors and we go to just such an extreme. And then that's where you can tell where all these conspiracy theories come from. And people say like, oh, some people go conspiracy theory, I'm not a whatever conspiratorial person or whatever. But it's like, yo, conspiracies are happening right in front of your face and you're a part of the conspiracy. Like what are you not getting? You think lying, yeah, so you think lying to people has never existed?
Yeah, lying is never good. I agree, it's not good, but I think some lies are not as bad. Like, again, like, setting up surprises for somebody, I think you're gonna have to tell a lie there, like, and I think those lies are okay, and, like, the thing is, I'm okay with people believing in Santa because I can't force Christianity on the whole entire world. There's going to be atheists, there's going to be people who don't believe in Jesus. And if they want to believe that Santa comes on the 25th of December, like, that's fine. Like, let Santa go through a chimney when he's super fat and can't fit. Like, first off, children should be questioning that. So, I just I don't want to force Christianity on the whole world because you have to choose Jesus. Like, you have to make that path for yourself. And with that, then you maybe don't want to tell a lie about Santa. But if you're a atheist and you don't believe and you want Santa, like, I think them have Santa. Like, I just can't force that decision on them.
Yeah, I just think it's our job to say something, like when I should have said something in that class. And then yeah, I wrote this down about Santa, like the group line, this is where conspiracy stems from, and how you know that they exist because we're doing it on this large scale to a segment of people who are looking for the truth and are willing to believe what kind of programming and are willing to believe. And then what kind of programming are we doing to our children and ourselves? We hire fake actors. Santa's an anagram for Satan, empowering a lie that is money, because then it's all about spending money. And when do you ever get gifts on another person's birthday? That goes against the whole thing. And it just like reinforces the foundation that money has some value when it doesn't. And then this goes to show our ability to assign value to nothing, like we were talking about in the last episode. Like, money's basically just pieces of paper that are worthless, but we assign value to it even though it's nothing really. So that's crazy, and that's how you know like nothing exists too. Anyways, how about those that can't afford gifts? Then those kids feel bad for what reason? And you're basically making them feel like they're bad children because Santa only comes to the good children. Like, it sets off this whole wave of things. And then ousting the less fortunate, the kids that didn't do wrongs yet still do not receive gifts. Okay, Santa's a white man, okay, and you're saying some lies are good, and then it goes back to the white lie, and that's why we shouldn't address each other as colors, because that stems in, and that's the connotation that goes along with that word, a feeling, because the words are feelings, but not every feeling is a word. Presence is the greatest gift you can give, not materiality. Material possessions are immaterial, which means they're like not adequate, they're not worthy of giving. And the immaterialities, the intangibles, is material, which is what is important. And that's an accounting concept, materiality. If it's not like above a certain threshold, and like you can just pencil whip it onto the books and record it that way, because yeah. And then so second grade, this person tells the truth, and the class demonizer for telling the truth alienates, ostracizes, and condemns. And then you go on to the tooth fairy being a lie. Now children are just wanting to lose their teeth. Incentive to not take care of your teeth, to lose it quicker. Losing for money again, a subliminal message to enforce the concept of money. Easter bunny, conspiracy, collective coordinating lies. Reality is already stranger than fiction. You don't need to go on like this rabbit hole. Hedging a bet is okay. So yeah, that's what I have. Any thoughts or agreement or disagreement?
I think all of those things are just for people who aren't of Christian faith. Like, I don't I think, especially because now I'm, like, more in my faith, I don't think you're supposed to really celebrate, like, Santa. Like, well, you don't celebrate him, like, you don't treat him like an idol or anything, but the main thing is always to recognize Jesus' birth on Christmas. And I used to hate Christmas. I used to think it was the fakest holiday, and my favorite holiday used to be Halloween, because Halloween is the only holiday where you get free stuff from random people you don't even know. It is the most giving holiday, and I don't think people realize how crazy it is to walk to random people's houses and get free candy. Like, they go out of their way to spend money on children they don't know. And I think that is so beautiful, and I always thought that was the coolest thing, and Halloween was my favorite. But then I got more in my faith, and I was like, okay, Halloween is not that great, because we're like, if you look into Halloween, it's like occultic. It's like really dark and ugly spirited. Like, it's actually very non-Jesus. So it sucks because I love Halloween, but like, I feel like in my faith I'm not really supposed to. But yeah, Christmas is kind of fake just because I think it's been faded out by people who don't believe in Jesus. But I can't force them into believing in Jesus. So if you want to grow up and have a family that believes in Jesus, then get rid of Santa and just praise Jesus on that day. Don't celebrate Halloween and just do something else. Like, we can't have everybody conform to something, I feel like, just because there is a truth. Like, we can still know what the truth is, but I don't think everyone has to conform to that truth.
Isn't Halloween like about getting rid of the demons though and stuff? Like you go around and you try to scare the demons or something?
I can't remember exactly what it is, but I think it's something about like the s- the spirits, like it's something of the dead, like
And they have that in
the
Mexican
dead
culture,
come
Day of
back.
the Dead.
Yeah, in Mexican culture they have the Day of the Dead, but it's not what you think it is. Like it's Halloween's not good. Yeah, you should probably look it up and let us know.
Okay. What is Halloween about? Celebration of horror costumes and the supernatural. Halloween's a holiday with origins in ancient Celtic festivals of Samhain, which marked the transition from summer to winter and was believed to be a time when the souls of the dead returned to their homes. In contemporary culture, Halloween has become a celebration of horror costumes and the supernatural. It's time when people indulge in the darker, creepier side of life and enjoy candy.
And enjoy candy. Yeah. Yeah, I just know like as somebody who's in their faith, they wouldn't like talk to the dead or like recognize like the dead spirits. Like that's something that's like a huge no-no. Like communicating with spirits that are dead, you just don't do that.
What do you think though about then? And we're getting close to an hour. Are we trying to wrap it up at an hour? Are we going to keep it rolling? And then the telepathic podcast that you turned me on to, which they're able to, talk to the spirits.
I'll keep talking. I don't mind. It's up to you. But that stuff, I'm not saying you can't talk to spirits, but if you're in your faith, talking to those spirits, like I'm pretty sure you're just like not supposed to communicate with that realm. Like it gets murky. Like it's just not something that we should be doing. But I'm not going to say it's wrong for people to do. Like do whatever you want. But if you're in your faith, it's just different.
Yeah, I always thought Halloween was to scare the demons away and stuff. And yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I guess you just have to take like the good with the bad too and stuff. And yeah, one of the other topics. This is gonna be, anyways. One of the other topics, is like nutrition that I wanted to hit on with you and see what you thought about all of this, because I think like the truth manifests itself, and we can't even force the truth down. Like it just finds a way to come out anyway. And that, like the I you me thing, when we were little kids, I know you are, but what am I? I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say about me bounces off and sticks to you. And the John Cena thing, you can't see me. And it just keeps going on, and you realize that like you're just looking in a mirror. And that's the whole thing, like about when you kept saying like, I think you think like that I'm disagreeing with you. And it's because I have to make that reconciliation between what you say and what I say, because it's going to be different coming from you than it is from me, but we're still saying the same thing. Does that, because I'm looking in a mirror, and if I wave my left hand, that's actually my right hand on the other side waving back at me. So I have to bring it together. You see what I'm saying? All right. And so, a reconciliation is when your checkbook looks different than your bank account when they send you a bank statement, but in reality, they're both the same thing when you're able to. I'd want to say reconcile again, but like get rid of the discrepancies. Like if you wrote a check and it hasn't hit the bank yet, you realize that number really is your number, just without the check that you wrote so far. So there's just like a timing difference. And so you realize that the differences are what make us the same, that type of thing. Because we're all different, and that's what makes us the same on the higher level. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
I feel like what makes us different makes us different.
No, it's. See, it's. Have you ever heard the same, however different?
No.
But if we're all different, then we share that in common.
Oh, because we're all different. That okay, yeah, that makes sense because
And
we're all
like the
different.
uh-huh.
But I feel like where I would say we're all the same is like we're all humans.
Mhm.
Like
But
we're very the same in being like you're a human and I'm a human and you need air to breathe and I need air to breathe. But like our differences are what make us different and our similarities are what make us the same.
but you could be like, I could hold my breath for longer than you, so you still need oxygen and I still need oxygen, but it's not going to be like at the same exact time. Like that kind of thing. Or like the way that I explain it is like we're all animals, or we're all different animals but the same beast. You ever see that Kobe Bryant with that Kanye West Kanye West commercial? I need you to be the same beast but a different animal. And so that's why standardized tests don't work either, because it's like you're a fish and I'm a monkey. Like you wouldn't be like, all right, fish, let's see how good you can climb this tree. Like that makes the person administering the test stupid for doing it that way when we already know we're all different. Or like another way is that we're all puzzle pieces and they're all different but they come together so they are one. Or we're like ice cream, like we're all ice cream but we're different flavors, like that type of thing. And so just because somebody's a different flavor doesn't mean that you hate ice cream. That so.
Kind of sort of get it, but I think with the standardized testing, I understand the fact that we will not all have the same knowledge or what aptitude or something.
Mm,
Like we're just not all going to be the same smart because we're all different.
mm-hmm.
But if you're in school and going through school and your teachers are teaching you whatever they have to teach you, like they're preparing you to take those tests. So as a human, you're a human. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to class, you're going to class. I'm retaining, you're retaining. Obviously, I may retain some other things. Some things may be easier for me and maybe harder for me, but in that same sense, we're trying to stay even enough to where the standardized test will show what I'm lacking and where I'm good, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like that's what it's for. It's not to necessarily say like, oh, you're a dumb kid or I'm super smart. I think it's all supposed to be that we're brought up kind of similar to now be tested to find out the difference.
And I would just say like, um, it doesn't seem like school does a good job. I don't know. Like sometimes I just feel like we're all in this together and that we're all taking the same test. Yet like when we're in school, we're told to take the test alone. And I guess they're just we need to find another way to analyze like, because I just think the leader naturally comes to the top of the equation. Like it just happens naturally, and we're making like an unnatural setting. Like we're all supposed to be working together because we're all in this together. And I don't think it does a very good job of conveying that. It doesn't do a very good job of illustrating like how life actually works, and then like life is already a class because we're always learning because we know that we don't know, and even when we do learn something and know something, then there's still another like thing that we have to ask about how we came to know this and why is it the way it is. And it's like the thing where like knowledge is finite, and but what you don't know is infinite kind of thing. Like, yeah, does that make sense? And basically I'm just like stemming this again from feeling, because I want to bring it back to the nutrition part of it, which is like I don't think that we should be eating animals because that's probably where like we've rationalized ourselves away from one meat, which is cannibalism, and we've gone to like a different animal, because I do think we're like animals, like we're a part of this planet, and we're like 98% monkey, they say, and it's not the lion that's the king of the what's up. Okay. And it's
No, keep talking,
and it's not the lion that's the king of the jungle, it's the silverback gorilla. Because the silverback gorilla would absolutely destroy the lion, like if you put those two together. And the silverback gorilla has fangs, but it's a vegetarian. And when they say like strong as an ox, it's like, what does an ox eat? It eats the plants and the veggies. And for people to say like it's a protein thing is incorrect, because yeah, there's so much protein in nuts and avocado. And then so I'm just going to keep going down this line of thinking, because I think it all stems from feeling and it manifests itself into the truth, and there's no escaping the truth. So even in the word nutrition is nut, okay? By their fruits you will know them. What they plant is what they grow. Reap what you sow. It's not kill what you eat, although some people do use that expression, so I can't totally like get around that. Fruits of the spirits, it's not meats of the spirits. Come to fruition. Fruit, ion. That's the base word of that word. And again, this goes back to that we didn't come up with these words. So you can look, it's written in the words. That expression again. So fruition, to come to pass, come to be, root word is fruit. Number 4, root, finding a root cause, cheering for someone or something, root for the home team. Sour grapes, you make something bad, to let the grapes go spoiled is not good. Don't cry over spilled milk. Milk usually comes from a cow, not something to concern yourself or worry about. Meathead, a surface level perspective, a superficial perspective, thinking strength has to do with muscles only. Someone that thinks with their muscles, not their brain. I butchered that. Did it wrong. A hack job. Butcher comes from killing animals, not plucking plants. Ideal of cannibalism. We've rationalized our away from one meat, human. Eating one's own. Eating a human. It was the start of vampires. Drinker of blood. What has blood? Animals, not plants. Rationalizing eating not cats and dogs here in America. How is that different than other animals? Plant is a factory that produces. We don't call factories slaughterhouse, a butcher's shop, because killing happens there. Decay happens there, not growth. Something made from the ground, again a plant, staying grounded. What grows in the ground? Plants, veggies, crop. In order to reap anything, you must sow, which means you must plant it. So if you're not planting anything, you reap nothing. Silverback gorilla is the king of the jungle, and we're 98% monkey. Horse, somebody that's horsing around, you're playing rough. Rough 2 times like a dog's bark. Someone's voice is harsh, not feeling well. Beat a dead horse, you're dulling the point. If you want to be sharp, you have a point. Saying cart before horse, which is like a neutral saying, because it's showing the importance of logic to order relationship. A horse pulls a cart, not pushes it. Having a cart but no horse means that the cart will be stationary. And this hits on the fact that we say law and order, but that phrase has been hijacked in itself, because it's supposed to be logic and order. Order will come from logic. And they say order in the court. Yeah, I mean, that's fine, whatever. I have a bone to pick with you, another negative connotation, feeling emotion, you have a problem with someone. We're only on number 15, and I have 155 of these. So do you have anything to say about this?
What?
That's what I'm saying, it's not a coincidence, yo. Looking at someone like they're a piece of meat, a material possession. I heard it through the grapevine.
Pause on whatever number you're on.
Okay, number 17.
Okay, so the thing is, I think Again, I'm not saying questioning's bad. That's what this whole thing's about. We're questioning everything, right?
Uh-huh.
But if so, the Bible
Oh, here we go.
is so like again, if you're a Christian and you believe in this faith, this book, whatever, you're gonna have those truths. Like those are gonna be your truths. So by everything you're saying and saying, you're a vegetarian, in Genesis 9:3, after the flood, God spoke to Noah and said, "Everything that lives and moves about will be food for you. Just as I gave you the green plants, I now give you everything." This indicates that God provided animals as a source of sustenance for humanity, much like the plants he provided earlier. So if if the Bible's the truth,
But it's
if you're in that faith, because not everybody is in that faith and not everybody lives exactly as the word, because we're hypocrites, like we're not perfect, right? So that's
well,
what I'm saying.
we're
Like,
paradoxical.
who am I to say so and so eats meat? I can't like
Well, I don't say we're
get
hypocrite.
down with you or
No, yeah,
whatever.
I'm not judging. Like people are gonna do what they're gonna do, but I just feel like it's also like I have to give what I think is right, and um, we're not hypocritical, or we don't have to be hypocritical or whatever. Like we don't have to say one thing and then do another thing. And that was my whole point of breaking the Bible down, is because not everything in there is correct, and so people have to use discernment. We just got done saying like, yeah, the money thing, the Eve.
No, I feel like you would be that's where you would probably tear Christian apart. Like they'd be like, "No, the book is the truth. Like everything in that book is the truth. Like it's not meant to be discerned. It's
There's
not
not
the
even the
book
numbers in there
saying."
to teach us
I'm just
numbers.
saying. I'm saying for a person who's okay.
And are
So
you talking
if
about Christian
I say
Christian? Or are you just
I'm
talking
talking
about
about real
Christian?
Christian, like
Okay.
somebody who's like, I'm a Christian, I read the
Yeah.
Bible, I
Yeah.
practice what I preach. So
Okay.
if somebody gave me a book and I'm saying I practice what I preach, so I hopefully don't come off as a hypocrite, then I would be following what that is because it'd be my rule book for life. So if it is saying these things, like those would be the truth. So when you're saying, I just want to share this information because I think it's right,
Mm-hmm.
like that's your truth. Like I think it's hard to have a definite truth of that because in a Christian standpoint, they're going to say, I think it's okay to eat meat because God gave us animals and plants. But in your truth, in your standpoint, you're like breaking it down to all these coincidences and weird
Mm-hmm.
wordplay
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
like how come it is like that? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like I totally see what you're saying. It is kind of odd that it
Mm-hmm.
has all those coincidences. But
Mm-hmm.
again, if somebody lives in that faith, they're gonna say, no, Victor, the book is what the truth is. So I don't think you can, in that sense, I don't know. I don't think there really is a truth. Like, I think we have options. Like, I think it's you can eat meat or you don't have to eat meat. I don't think there's like a right and wrong for that. Like,
What?
you don't eat people. You don't eat people. That's a right and wrong. Don't eat people. But when
Why
it
though?
comes to meat,
That's
I
meat
don't
though
think
too,
there's.
and we're animals.
Because that's murdering a human.
Well, what if they're already dead?
Don't tell anyone you ate them.
But the point is like to help one another. My point is that I truly do think we're one. My thing is that I am you, so I'm talking to you, and like, yo, so that's all I'm saying. And then there's just too many coincidences to just like brush it off. There's just too many coincidences to be like, oh, all of that is one big coincidence. All 155 of these are just coincidental. Like, I heard it through the grapevine. Well, why didn't you hear it through the cow's ear, or the goat's tail, or the monkey's arm? No, it's a grapevine. And then extend an olive branch. Why didn't you just extend like the cow's toe or the monkey's finger?
I don't know about those ones, but you mentioned one about the fruits of the spirit, like you'll know them by the fruit. I think with that one though, that's because that has like growth. Like fruit grows, you can bear fruit. You because you grow into those things. And like we don't necessarily like like when you look at a plant, you can see it growing. Like you put a seed in the ground, you can see it start, the roots, the little like bit that comes out, and the growth. So when you should know them by the fruits of the spirit, I think it's a great way to explain like what someone bears by using fruit, like using that analogy. Like I wouldn't say like how many cows did they have? Like how many hamburgers did they eat? Like I think making an analogy for using animals in that sense like would be very hard, but the bearing fruit and like the growth and see how much they have, like that one just makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, but you could also do it in the reverse where it's like, how many animals are they keeping alive on their farm? And we
But not
started in.
everyone has farms.
Not everybody has gardens.
Yeah, but it's like wordplay though. Like you can, I feel like with it saying like, because we all are trying to grow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's spiritually or just like mentally and things like those things grow. Fruits and vegetables, like they grow, but the comparison of like an animal growing, like it is just it doesn't equate. It's like not that same type of growth, I don't think.
But we could have been like, you bear them or you know them by like how they take care of their animals or something. Like you'll know their character by the way that they raise their stock.
I guess, but those fruits of the spirit are actually like, because it is the fruits of the spirit, and there's like nine of them, and
Uh
it's
huh.
patience, self-control,
Mm-hmm. Love probably or something.
yeah, love, gentleness. Gosh, I used to know all of them, but
Fruits of the
yeah, so it's like
spirit. You could say animals of the spirit, but we didn't. And God always says like in heaven you'll be able to lay with the lions and stuff, right? But we can already do that. Like you see some people on YouTube, or I don't know if they drugged them or not, but like it seems like the lions just play with them and stuff. And then to be like, well, the lion will never eat a vegetable, but you're not a lion, so you're not like comparing. You're not doing apples to apples. Oh, another coincidence. We didn't say cows to cows, chickens to chickens. You can't compare cats and dogs. You say you can't compare apples and oranges. The apple of my eye. You didn't say the monkey of my
yeah.
eye. The.
But have you ever tried to look at it in the other sense? Like, or
Mm-hmm.
did you only find them through like the vegetables and fruit? Like, I feel like if you were to like actually sit down and look at all like the meat things and like, would you, I feel like you'd find things like that too.
I mean, there's just like a few exceptions that seem to be positive towards animal. Basically, the takeaway is like anytime you use an animal in an expression, it's always a negative. Like it's raining cats and dogs, or they're fighting, or it's raining cats and dogs. You could say it's raining tomatoes and pineapples, but we don't. And that was like the whole thing that like all of this just manifests as like, okay, hot potato, a game getting, not removing something that's not ready. um Potato versus tomato, we didn't say like, you know cat versus cot or something like that. And the whole point about this is that it's showing the similarities across languages, and showing the similar differences, showing a reconciliation. Two peas in a pod, one of a kind. A knucklehead. So like a knucklehead is somebody that's not like very smart and stuff. And again, this has to do with another bone. What has bones? Animals. We call somebody bro beans, term of endearment. Shrimp, somebody that small is a bottom feeder, inadequate. When you spill the beans, you're telling another person's business. It's gossip. It's not all right to do. Showing not to waste beans, that eating beans are important to eat and have and not get rid of. Showing this is a food not to be careless with. Spill the tea. And then like this is when it could be a negative connotation, like somebody's in a vegetable state but they're not feeling and like not moving and stuff. I don't know. Apples versus oranges, you can't compare one another. Like we can't compare each other because we have nothing in common. And then comparison is the thief of joy. And like apples, oh, okay, Apples to Apples is a game that's really fun. Shows the awesomeness of things. Shows things have a common denominator. Um, Make mincemeat of something is to make it look bad. What am I? Chopped liver. Garden of Eden. We all start in a garden, not a butcher's house or slaughterhouse. We could have been on a farm that had animals. The item that has knowledge is an apple. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. This one could go either way. Like, but this is something I can. Okay, we have limbs. So what grows on limbs? But I guess you could turn that around and say maybe we should eat things with limbs, so that would be animals. Staying grounded again, like what grows in the ground. Okay, garlic keeps the vampires away, so eating the right food will keep the people with wrong intentions away. Therefore, you will keep, people that have good intentions around you. It could have been any other food that could, but yeah, I mean, basically, yeah, just going back to just saying that usually anything with an animal in our expressions is a bad thing and has a negative connotation, and then anything that has like fruits and vegetables is a good connotation. And I don't know, what do you think about it?
I mean, I think that
because everybody's
I
looking what to eat, what not to eat, right? Like there's all these diets, all these things, so this is it right here. That's what I'm trying to
but I
say.
think the thing is, it's like there needs to still be I think there's variation in your diet, and I think some people, I I think your diet should probably mainly consist of natural things growing from the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Whole
I
foods.
yeah, I don't think that means that you need to eat like
Yo,
30
I struggle
pounds
with this. Yeah, I do struggle
beef
with
a
this. Yeah.
month. Like I don't I don't think your majority of your food is supposed to be from an animal.
Right.
I think it just means that majority is supposed to be whole food.
Uh-huh.
Not that you're not supposed to have any animal. I think it just means you need to like regulate it, and you don't, because like they talk about heart health, and like you're not supposed to eat that much red meat. Like that's already talked about. Like
Yeah.
so your consumption of meat just should not be more
It should
than
be
your
a dessert.
consumption in a way. Like it should be small portions. It shouldn't be like I eat a steak for dinner every night. Like that's probably not healthy, and I think they've probably talked about how that's not healthy.
And
It's
every
just
religion talks about how like they don't eat a certain animal. It's never don't eat a certain plant or vegetable or fruit.
yeah.
Like
But I
Hindus
don't
don't
think
eat
that
cows.
means that we're supposed to be vegetarian. I think it's just we're not supposed to be gluttonous about animal meat. I think we're supposed to have self-control and understanding of like we were given this meat, and we're not supposed to be eating it like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's supposed to be like snack. It's supposed to be small portions.
Yeah, it very well could be for sure. I mean, it should probably yeah, like just a dessert then, I guess, to make it simple and practical, because like people are wondering like why they feel the way they do, and it is because you are what you eat, and it's gonna have an effect on you. And so if you're looking for the right things to eat, then you should follow your heart, because that's a no-brainer. So that should be some more practical advice. And you have to follow your gut, which again is a no-brainer. Like you don't even have to think about it.
Yeah. I think you should obviously listen to whatever your body's telling you to do, but I think there are some people's bodies who aren't in like a good state of health in the first place, and they probably shouldn't listen to it because some people crave junk food. So, they shouldn't probably listen to their body at that point. But listening to your body and understanding what your body needs is very important. And I
Mm-hmm.
do believe that because I've known some vegetarians,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them used to like I used to fight with them. They were fighters and they had muscles. Like one girl I knew was a vegetarian. She was jacked. And she just came to a point where she felt like she was so fatigued and she was missing something, and she introduced, I think she was vegan. She introduced eggs at first, and then it just wasn't enough. She was like, I needed more, and then she started eating meat again, and she felt great.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it is listening to your body and not overdoing it in certain areas, and having that variation. They always say when you eat a meal, it should be colorful.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't just be white and brown. Like it should be green, orange, red, brown. Like
Mm-hmm.
you need to have variation. It's important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. It just keeps going like this, you know. I can't emphasize enough how, or I could keep going and emphasizing just how important like eating the veggies and the fruit is, and leaving the animals alone is, I guess. It's the whole point of this. Like skeletons in a closet, fruits and veggies don't have skeletons. Cream of the crop, the cream rises to the top. I'm just looking for ways to like make sure that I'm optimizing myself, and I feel like kind of like Deadpool right now, where like he like looks at the camera, and he like takes it, like he no longer acts in it, but he becomes like the director, and he's telling the audience. Like I feel like that's kind of what we're doing. Like we're going into the fourth dimension here. But yeah, like give your baby a raspberry, like it's a playful gesture. Like we go on their bellies and stuff. We don't call it like an animal. And then the Gwen Stefani, this is bananas, Bananas, and like just to prove that she could have done anything. She could have done anything, and she picked bananas, and that also goes to this also goes to show though, like that we didn't come up with words. Like how crazy is the word bananas? Bananas. Like okay. In a nutshell, to simply explain something, when you nut, at least for guys, that's the like seed of life. So again, just nutrition again. Okay, protein's irrelevant to this conversation. Like other animals that are vegetarians are clearly getting protein. Like I said, the monkey and the silverback gorilla, and how we instinctually compare ourselves to monkeys, like King Kong, when we say monkeys or King Kong doesn't have ish on me, like from Training Day with Denzel Washington. Yeah.
Victor, what in the heck, dude? What?
Cool as a cucumber? We didn't say cool as a cat, or do we? That's a cool cat. Yeah, we do say that sometimes.
You say that one. See, look, there you go. You got one for the other team.
Okay, fruits and veggies are kicking butt, though.
I wish I knew some about meat and stuff.
Okay,
that's a cool cat.
Yeah. A cat has 9 lives. Okay, I don't even want to talk about this one, but you know how they say cat got your tongue? Like, what other things do we call cat? You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, goodness. I feel like Sarah Marshall. Where that one guy was like, that one guy.
Oh, the nerdy guy. Mm-hmm. Put mouse on for a reason. Something like that.
Yeah, we
put mouse on for a reason. I love him. Hey, okay, here's one.
All right, what's up?
The same meat and potatoes. They did them together. Like the meat and potatoes is like the most important part of something. Like when someone's like, "All right, give me the meat and potatoes."
Yeah. But so it's still half and half,
together.
though.
That means we can have them together. Boom! I just killed all of them. Because meat and potatoes. They said they are united because they're the most important together.
Okay, I like that, but that's one. But it goes for both teams. Both team gets one.
And that's why, because it's literally using meat and potatoes as the most important part. So it's saying, hey, fruit and vegetable must have 700 to 1, but it doesn't matter because meat and potatoes is the overall winner because it's the most important.
Nothing's the end all be all.
Mm-hmm.
And the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. We didn't say a calf doesn't fall far from the cow.
Because you should catch the baby.
Popeye the Sailor Man ate spinach. eat your vegetables. We never heard eat your meat. And orange is so important that it's a color and a fruit.
Yes. Wow.
But I'm just trying to explain that.
Wow.
I'm trying to explain that, like, we definitely didn't come up with these words. That's why I keep getting that harken back to too. Because why didn't carrot become orange? Like, we would have been fighting each other forever on this. No.
No.
No, we're fighting.
No.
We're fighting about whether or not transgender people like should do that, but what's right and wrong. We're saying we don't even know what's right and wrong, but we're able to just agree on these abstract concepts.
Because fruit and vegetables don't have feelings.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
So it doesn't matter if we called one a carrot and one an orange.
Okay, then to explain like how some people think there's not a right and a wrong, but we're able to go G G O D duh, and then good. We're able to agree on all of that, but once it comes down to the example in real life situation, we're like, no, that is good and that's bad. Like, there's still people that butt heads, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, what kind of madness this is and bizarro-ness? Go ahead. What do you got?
Wait, are we still talking about like the transgender thing where you're saying like that is something that we can't agree upon, but we can agree like G is good.
Yeah. Like like there must be order that we're just like not seeing.
Because it doesn't deal with like people's feelings. Like it doesn't deal with like an actual identity of a person. Like the letter G is gonna be okay if it was gonna be sounding like duh. Like it doesn't.
But it could have been that. It could have been.
And you're right.
It could have been an infinite amount of things, and we still were able to agree on that. How?
But it didn't have to have like the agreement didn't really need to matter. It just needed to be like, hey, this is what it's going to be, and this is how we're going to use it to function. But when it comes to the person's identity, like that's going to be far more. Like it's going to be harder to agree upon because people have feelings and people have to live a whole life. Like the letter D and G and the number 4, like they don't have feelings and they help us. Like it made it easy for us to just agree and say 7 is going to be 7 and 4 plus 3 is going to be 7, and we're all going to use the same system so we can count items and count money. But when it comes to like somebody's gender identity, like that is a person's identity, and like who am I to say you have to like a woman? Like if you wanted to like a dude, I can't force you to like a woman. Like I can't.
Yeah, and I definitely want to make this practical. I don't want to be like the earth is flat and like, what do I do with that information? That's not what I'm trying to make this. And if we want to talk about the transgender thing, then what I'm saying is, like, from our text was that, or what I texted you was that it's not all right to change your ethnicity, and it's not all right to lie about your age. So if we're going to go down that line of thinking, then keep it consistent, because if it's not consistent, then there's something wrong with the original thought. I don't know. Maybe I'm just here along for the ride then. And you're saying like, all I have control over is my response. But even in describing like I guess I'm also just trying to prove God's existence too, in a way, for some people that don't believe in God and like are atheists and stuff, which is that there's just a bigger power here than us. Oh, yeah, this is tough. Because even when you're describing an item, you could have mistaken. We could have been talking about the shape of the item. We could have been talking about the weight of the item. Like, even the word everything. I would have came to you with this and been like, everything. And you would have been like, no, a gripper. or I would have came to you with this, and I would have been like, everything, and you'd been like, no, that's a pen, Victor. And then I would have said, look, I got my whatever this is, like, hand flexor, and you've been like, no, or I would have said everything, and you've been like, no, flexor. Think about how hard it would have been for us to even describe everything. Something more is going on.
Okay.
I don't like us muting either.
I think the whole thing though with the gender and
Identity
sex,
crisis?
I think people don't know the definition then.
Of what?
Sex is your reproductive organ.
Mm-hmm.
That's not your gender. Gender is your social, cultural differences rather than your biological. That's the type of identity, the social construct. Because, to be honest, I would say that I am gender fluid because I don't wear makeup, I don't dress feminine, I dress very masculine. By society standards, I probably wear more dude clothes than female clothes. But my sexual reproductive organs are a vagina, and I like men. Which matches, but I'm not a man. I don't think I'm a man. I like men, but so gender and sex are different things. Sex is your organ. Gender is here. Because I will say I'm gender fluid. I lean into men things. Like, I like to play sports, and that might be socially
So
more
transgender is
masculine.
that, like, saying...
It's the gender. It's not trans-sex. It's transgender. Gender's in your head. Sex is your organ.
Okay, but we don't allow people to trans-color. Like, we gave them so much... I mean, I guess you give transgender people that too, but, like, Michael Jackson tried to change his color from black to white, right? And we were like, no, that's not right.
So, like, the thing is, the gender is a mental state. And so if I feel, like, if I wake up one day and I feel, like, more masculine and I wear sweatpants and a baggy t-shirt, like, I still may not feel like a man, but I'm still leaning farther towards this. So it's a spectrum. I'm still leaning towards the masculine. And I think there are some people who truly just lean harder, but present differently. Like, because I don't know what it feels like, right? Like,
you don't know what?
I don't know what it feels like to be transgender. So who am I to be like, you're in the wrong body? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't live their life. What if I have a child and my child is like, Mom, I don't feel right. Like, I feel like a man, and presents as a little girl and has a sex organ of a vagina. Like, who am I to say, like...
Reminds me of Amanda Bynes, Think Like a Man or something.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how are we to change how they feel? Like, I think that's just a hard thing because we're not them. Like, we don't know what that feels like. I can only imagine what it feels like. And if I had to tell my child, like, that presents as a little girl, that you're wrong and you were made to be a girl because you have a vagina, like, I would feel terrible if I couldn't let my child be their authentic self. If they felt like they were a boy. Like, I feel like it'd be hard for me to be like...
Yeah, but if I feel like I'm a nudist, I still don't get to walk outside nude without there being repercussions. Like, even to the basic things, like when we're talking about abortion, like, you don't have control of your body. Like, you don't get to even... we don't even get to control what's on the outside of our body, let alone what's on the inside of our body. I feel like there's a disconnect. Like, either I'm not getting it, which is fine, and that's what I'm doing all of this for, is to learn more. But the thing about the transgender thing is that they are cutting off their dicks and shriveling it up. Like, how... And that goes back to the mutilation thing. Like, and either way, then they would still be gender fluid like you're talking about. So why do you have to mutilate your body and stuff? to change it if you're already still going to be gender fluid regardless of how you look?
Because they still aren't presenting masculine or feminine enough, if that makes sense. So they're like going to, like, if there's a spectrum and say like I'm here on the spectrum and masculine, and somebody's like, well, I need to be here as a presenting woman, I need to be here. So that would be changing completely. And I just feel like, who am I to say you can't do that? Like, I just,
The same person that would,
it
the same person probably that would see a man walk outside nude and be like, get
naked.
your fucking, I'm sorry, get your ass, I'm sorry again.
Yeah.
So,
I just think like the whole case on this whole like, oh my god, if we have transgenders in our bathrooms, I'm sorry, I got raped in not a bathroom. Like, I didn't have a guy come in the bathroom and do anything like that to me. Like, I don't hear people getting raped in the bathrooms. I hear people getting raped all other places. Like, if it's a problem with the bathrooms, it ain't even happening there. And the thing is, you could send a normal, like, still have a man in a female bathroom where those people have their reproductive system that matches the picture on the wall, and that man can still go in a woman's bathroom and rape people. Like, if that's the problem
yeah.
with it, that's stupid.
So what
Because
is
what we're
this?
doing
Are
is we're
these
controlling
smoking?
people.
Yeah. So this is all just smoke and mirrors then to get us talking about the wrong things.
I don't think it's that. I think it's we're too. I guess maybe like, why are we so worried if somebody wants to present differently? Like, it doesn't bother me. As a Christian, obviously, I think that God probably put them in this body, and that was the body that they're supposed to have, I think. But like, as a Christian, I'm just supposed to accept them. I'm not supposed to change them. I'm just supposed to help them find Jesus. I'm supposed to help them in their faith and love them, no matter what. Whether they have a penis, cut it off or not. Like, I'm just supposed to love them and accept them. That's all my job is. It's not me to police them and say, you can't have a sex change, or you can't be called he, him, they. Like, it's just being respectful of other people's desires, I guess. Like, it's not harming me at all, really.
Yeah, and I guess though, yeah, I just think about like what Dave Chappelle said then, like how far into this fantasy am I supposed to play? Like, because you look like a guy or a girl, and I go like, he did that, or like, are you supposed to get upset because like I'm not playing along with how you feel? Like, I don't know what I'm.
I do think there are some people who play in it too hard. Like, there's this one person who has a TikTok, and she is transgender. So it was a male to a female. And she posts all these videos of her going to a restaurant and how people will say, hey, sir, how are you? How can I help you? Dude, like, hey, guy, like, all these
And
videos
she's taking it
she'll
personally
post.
or whatever.
Yes. And that's where I'm like, just chill out. Because I'm sorry, some people don't pass. They call it passing. Like, some people, when they get all their stuff done, they look like a man still, or they look like a woman still.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, you have to truly look inward and be like, okay, I'm not even passing. So the fact that they probably said, hey, dude, I can't even be mad. Like, that's where I'm just like, you're expecting too much from us
Society.
on the outside for you to expect us to know your labels. Like, that's where people need to chill out and not get so mad if somebody called someone a they, when really they don't go by they go by he and her or whatever, like, just stop getting mad at that. Like, I'm sorry, my assumption was wrong, and you can correct me. And if I purposely continue to use the wrong pronouns or call you by the wrong name, then yeah, I'm being a jerk. And I should not do that, because it's not being respectful. If you told me you wanted to be called Vivi, I'd call you Vivi. Because out of respect, I care for you, I love you, but your name's not Vivi, it's Victor and stuff like that. Like, if I wanted you to call me Mojo Jojo, you'd probably call me Mojo Jojo. Because you respect me. Like, that's all it is. It's respect.
Yep. Yeah. I wouldn't know that until like you told me to. Like, hey, I want to be called this, but yeah, at the end of the day, though, yeah, you're still you, so I can still refer to you as that.
No, Mojo Jojo.
But I can say, how are you, and you're still gonna answer.
I guess so.
Everybody still got bills to pay.
No matter your gender, no matter your sex, you still got bills to pay. Exactly, and that's what it should just boil down to. We got bills. We got bills.
This is crazy. This is nuts.
We got bills to pay, Vic. I mean,
That's so funny you say that, though, because Theo was upset when you called him something the last time you saw him. You said, like, big boy, or like...
yeah.
Salsa boy! You called him Salsa boy.
Salsa boy.
And he says, that's not my name.
Exactly.
But did you call him Salsa boy because you wanted to mess with him?
Oh, because he was eating salsa. He had red mouth. He had red salsa mouth.
How dare
so
you,
I
Soph?
called him Salsa Boy.
How dare you?
And you know what? Good for him to say, I don't like that. Don't call me Salsa Boy.
No, he told me that, so I'm telling you that.
Yeah, I won't ever call him Salsa Boy anymore. But he didn't want to tell me his name either.
Huh. Yeah, so, goodness. I mean, I guess the question is, like, how do we find that freedom? How do we find that sovereignty then? And how do we stop, like, getting other people to control other people? And that's what I was going on, like, the paradox about, like, the only thing that you can tell me what to do is to, like, for you to tell me not to tell you what to do. But to get everybody on that page is probably pretty much impossible. Like, the probability is so low. And to me, that, like, yeah, begs the question, where are we? And, you know, there's just going to be bullies.
I mean, I think, like, the regulations that we have, like, with clothing and stuff, I wonder, well, I think maybe it could stem from Adam and Eve, right? You know?
That one effing story.
Well, think about, like, so if that's the truth, that's why we got clothes on, because that's when they realized, oh my gosh, we're naked.
But why would
like,
God make them do something that was wrong, though? So because they had the knowledge.
Free will.
No, but like when God first made Adam and Eve and they're naked, nude in the garden, and then they eat the apple and they're like, oh my gosh, we're nude, so we better put clothes on. What was their rationale for wanting to put clothes on? Because they saw what they were doing as wrong? So then you're saying that God did something wrong in the first place by making them nude and not, like...
No, I think you're making wrong and right. I don't think there's wrong and right in that. I think they felt uncomfortable. Being naked is vulnerable. They were, like, no longer comfortable in their bare skin. Like, you know when you... like, there's a saying, something... like, when you can bear it all, like,
the naked truth?
Like, I feel comfortable in my skin. I feel comfortable. Like, people say, I feel comfortable in my skin. Like, they were able to live in a world without sin and live nude. And I think because when they sinned, they had this awareness of, like, I don't feel as safe as I once did showing my body. I'm no longer able to bear myself. Like,
So what do the people that do feel comfortable bearing it all and being nude? Are we supposed to be an example and just, like, basically walk out of our house and, like, get killed? Or, like, how is that gonna work? How do you think that goes?
No, I think I'm just saying, like, where clothing could have started. Like, if people are contemplating whether, like, the Bible is the truth or not, then I think that would be a good way to say, like, hey, That's why we have clothes on. They sinned, they realized they were naked, and they felt uncomfortable, and they were like, we gotta
But it's
cover
not that
ourselves.
nudity is a sin. It's that they sinned and then they
No,
didn't want to
they had a
be.
realization like, I need to not be vulnerable. I need to cover myself. I don't feel
But
comfortable.
being vulnerable is good.
But not always.
So you go.
Like, you can't be vulnerable with everybody. There's people who aren't safe. There are people who are not safe that you should not be vulnerable with.
Yeah.
Because you have to have discernment, right?
See, this is where I get into the whole. Yeah. This is where we're gonna have to go into the thick of it again, and I have to explain that you are everybody, but everybody's not you. And like I could just keep onto the viewpoint that you are everybody. So when I look at everybody as an individual, then I don't get caught up in the everybody moment, in the everybody movement.
Yeah, I think that's the part that is gonna get you caught up, maybe. Like, looking at it in that sense.
And I have to see it as both or something.
Yeah. Because I really don't think the naked and the covered clothes, like, I don't think they saw it as a wrong. I think it was just a discomfort. Why am I showing? Why am I revealing this? Like, I think it was a discomfort. I don't necessarily think there was the fact of naked being wrong and clothed being right.
Hmm.
And then with you saying, like, now
Mm-hmm.
someone walking around naked, I think that's just because we have rules and regulations, and those are, I believe, the rules and regulations that are put in place are to protect us. Yes, some are faulty, probably, but
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of them are to keep us safe and
But what
protect
degree
us.
though? What degree? Like, have you seen you saw the Disney movie, right, where the house takes over and locks them inside for their safety? On the Disney Channel, where the house is alive, and it's that one.
Monster House? That's not Monster House. Wait, that's not a scary movie. Are you talking
No.
about Smarter
Yeah,
House?
Smarter House. Yeah.
And the lady takes over and she's like, I'm your mom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Like, what are we coming to?
What do you mean, like with technology or?
In general, like the Black Mirror episode where like the only one I've seen was the first one where she like tries to track her daughter down and she has like a camera on her 24/7, and then she like finally loses sight of her, and it's like even nowadays like parents checking their phone 24/7 to see where their kid is at on their location. Like it's becoming overbearing. It's becoming overbearing. It's becoming like counterproductive. Like I don't know. I just like with Theo and Bridget too. Like when is the alright time to just let them walk outside the house? Like it's becoming just too much. How am I supposed to just let them walk outside the house then? Like, and then who am I to even say like I'm their parent? Like, yeah, I'm their parent, but at some point I just feel like I could overdo it too, and not let them have their freedom to like just go explore the world. And like, it's just yeah, I don't.
I mean, that's where all the discernment comes from. Like, it's just you knowing whether the area they're at is safe. It's you trusting and knowing your child well enough to know that they won't talk to strangers, or that they'll be back in time, or that your children will end up being in a good group of friends. Like,
Well, this is a good point to hit on. Is like the stranger thing is like the paradox that we're a family of strangers because we're all coexisting here. So you could argue, not argue, you know what I mean? Like you couldn't argue, but you could debate that everybody is a stranger. And then at what point do they not become a stranger anymore?
oh, why would we debate this?
because you're saying like for them to not talk to strangers, but then that's how we like get isolated, or that's like one. Yeah, I
I would
mean,
say a stranger is somebody that you don't know, especially as a child, somebody that your mom never introduced you to, that's a stranger.
mm,
I don't think there's anything wrong with meeting strangers, but you probably, as a child, should meet them with your adult.
mm-hmm,
But as an adult, it's okay to meet strangers.
mm-hmm,
Like there's different things for children and adults. So meeting strangers is good because yeah, you're not going to be isolated. You're going to build a community. You might make friends and
mm-hmm,
things like that. But I think you just have to make sure that you know your children are going to follow those rules that you've given them because you want to keep them safe. Just as like we have rules in this society that I do believe are meant to help us stay safe. Like
mm-hmm,
when we drive, there's a speed limit. That's to keep us safe. We
mm-hmm.
wear seatbelts to keep us safe. Like there are a lot of things that we follow these rules to keep us safe. And I understand that some people feel like they're getting their free will taken away or
Mm-hmm.
their rights and things taken away and they're being controlled, but I
Yeah, there's
I'm
exceptions
it
to.
yeah, like a lot of things are safety. A lot of
Mm,
things are safety.
yeah, to prevent basically crashes at the end of the day. Because it's not like speed that kills, but like the crashing. But there's like, there's a correlation between somebody that's speeding, you're more likely to get into a crash. So, mm-hmm. Yep. No, this, yep, this has been good. Going on 2 hours. This was a tough one.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. No, I just yeah. This one, yeah, even though we're the equal heads, I feel like that first conversation might be, yeah, different. It's just all different. But I guess one of the things that comes to mind is like about being present and like how some people call like thoughts, right? Like if you're thinking about doing something that you shouldn't with like a girl or a guy, I guess they can be thoughts, right? And so like that means that you're in the past, like that's not present thinking. Like a thought is past tense for thinking. So you're no longer present, that type of thing.
Oh, so if you have any thoughts in your head, you're in the past.
So like yeah, like if you go to a bar or something and you're about to go get with a thought.
Are you trying to call him a thought? I'm confused.
I'm just using the wordplay again and showing like how it really does come from within the truth.
Wait, so you're really trying to call him like a thought?
Yeah,
Like,
thought.
yeah.
Yeah, so thought like
But then what about a
THOUGHT.
guy? Like, what about a girl for a guy then? We don't
Yeah, sure,
have, cause,
thought. Call him a thought too.
but they call guys that too.
No, I don't know. I'm saying now we're making it. Yeah.
Um,
And just how important it is to be present. Because I want to keep this like practical advice, but then I want to also like back up the practicality. I don't know. Like, what is success? And like people need to make that definition for themselves because if they keep going like outside of themselves to find that definition, then that's when they get into turmoil. Does that make sense?
mhm.
And then like when you say like somebody's being salty, right? Insult, like that's where that stems from. Like
Where does salt come from? Is salt a plant? Does salt come from plants?
I don't know, does it? It says it's the spice of
Eh,
life.
well, it's a
And take things with a grain of salt.
Yeah, what?
Where does
They're
salt
from
come
the
from?
water?
Some things just are, Soph.
The salt of the earth? What does that saying mean? Yeah. So sea salt comes from the water, and then rock salt is still from water. So water's bad because don't be salty.
Water's
Like
bad?
salty is an insult. So what are we saying? Like
When
the
somebody's being
relation to
salty, yes, the relation to insult. That's why you call them salty. It's like the slang for being insulting.
yeah, but salt comes from water, and you need water.
Yeah, but we say
So
like salt
water's
in the wounds though
bad.
too. No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, if you put salt in a wound, it hurts, it burns, and salt comes from water.
Yeah, but it's no longer water though, right? It's like a different form of
Yeah,
water.
it changes, but it comes from water. Like that's how it is created. So are we saying that water is not good then because we like if you're talking about the meats and the fruits and the vegetables and stuff, but like it's the same and saying like, well, salt comes from water and pretty much the insult add salt to a wound, like
No, I'm just saying like
those aren't
like if I
good.
say you're being salty, yeah, like I'm just thinking that that stems from insult is what I'm saying. Like that's like the verbiage, like the derivative of it.
I mean, I think so, right?
No, yeah, I'm just guessing. I'm trying to get into like the minds of us by like uh, using the fourth dimension and like being like a fish in water and being like how would you even tell somebody like you know what I mean if you're a fit like if you're a fish and you were in water, there's no other way for you to tell people your other fish pals that you're in water. I don't know.
Your fish pales. Wow. Your fish pals. Okay, well, your fish friends. I can't believe you said that.
I don't even know what I just said. I just be feeling it. God, I hope this is gonna be practical to some people because, like, goodness, this one's a rough one. So, I don't even know if I can post this one.
Why?
Oh my goodness.
How is this one so rough? I feel like all we did was talk about real things in the world,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah. This one, I'm gonna have to definitely look back on this one, take some some notes. Um. Oh goodness. Yeah, I just don't want people. Yeah. Yep.
You don't
Yep.
want
Yep.
people
So,
mad.
no, 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 no. I don't want people killing themselves. I don't want people using drugs. I don't want people, yeah, going to war and all that stuff. I don't know how to, yeah.
I agree. I don't want people killing themselves or harming
Have you
themselves
had
or
anyone
hating
that,
themselves.
yeah. Oh, I did want to say though, like, if you do say like that you hate someone, and like you actually mean it, then I feel like in some twisted way that is love because at least you're not lying to them.
No.
You don't think so?
You never heard of if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all.
Hmm. Okay. Cool. That sounds good. I'll accept that.
Like, like I think there's some instances where you have to just not say something because it could be so mean and hurtful.
Mm-hmm.
I think by saying you hate someone, I don't see where that's a necessary thing that you'd have to tell someone.
And the fact that these are spells too, like we call them spells, like spelling and stuff. Like we're really not being like people that don't say anything are just being muggles. And I think that's why people like that line so much, like, Harry, you're a wizard.
Because he uses spells.
Yeah, like he actually like uses his words and I don't know. I just think that people that are all the time silent and not speaking up, like our first line of defense is saying something.
Yeah, I remember that one time we were just talking. Oh no, we were on Twitch and you said stand for the truth or
Fall for lies.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you either stand for something or fall for everything or something. Probably is also it. Stand together or yeah.
This I actually had it written down for the longest time on my whiteboard and I erased it. But yeah, so I mean that's the same thing as like the bystander effect. Like if you're at let's say you're on the bus or something and like you see somebody like passed out with a needle in their arm, and rather than calling the police you're like, well, that other person will probably call the police,
Yeah.
and then you don't do it. Like
It's a
by
ripple
you,
effect.
yes, not opening your mouth, and you're just like, well, someone else will do it, someone else will, and then this person just dies
And that's the
because
mind
nobody.
virus, yeah, because that gets into somebody else. And then that person will think that
Yeah,
too. But if you stand up, like you're setting an example for somebody,
yeah,
and that's
I
like
think
the
it's
bug's
important to
life,
speak. Yeah.
where he's about to get his head stomped in by the grasshopper. And then luckily the queen comes and like says, no, we'll get you your food or something. But
I used
just,
to watch that a lot, but I don't remember.
he's the one that's always like making mistakes too in the colony, and he just feels like a lousy person because he's the one that like came up with the invention to like cut down the stock and stuff, and then like be more efficient with it, and then ends up like clipping the food and it all goes down the hill and the grasshoppers don't have anything. And the whole point of the grasshoppers was like, if you allow one of them to stand up, then you allow all of them to stand up. Because we're all one.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think well, like with you saying that like you would love everyone to come together. Like you would like all of us to unite and work together, and how in schools you don't believe it teaches that. It's very like
Divisive.
solo, like yeah. So the whole like coming together, I think that's an amazing thing. It's just it's first I'll say it's very hard for the first one to come out. Like the people who are like revolutionary, like they ended up dying
I would like to
basically,
say,
being
yeah.
shot and
Yeah,
killed.
I would like to
Like,
say
but it's
evolutionary
hard for
too.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they it's hard for them to even take that stand because they know so many people are against them. It's hard for them to speak up because they know that they're going to be hated and treated really bad. Like it's always hard for the very first person to come out. So then it's going to be, well, why would I follow this person when I see how they're being treated and looked down upon? And so it is hard to have all of those people stand together because again, I think people are cowards and I think people are weak, and I think sometimes people can easily turn a blind eye and act like, oh, okay, well, it's not truly affecting me, so it's not that big of a deal, until finally it does affect them, and then they're like, oh, I gotta do something. But yeah, it's hard for the first person to get it started, and to get everybody to just, it's still hard.
And yeah, that's also why I'm doing this, is because I do believe in reincarnation, and like in my next life, I don't want to come back to like the same spot. And I don't want
But
to,
why do you believe that you would come back to the same spot?
like, if I don't do what I'm supposed to do now, then God's just going to be like, you got to go back. You got to restart till you get it
But
right.
why do you believe that you would even have the same life?
I just think that would be God's punishment for me if I didn't, like, say what I'm supposed to say now.
But we have no evidence of you knowing that you would even return to that same life, right? Like you might end up
We don't
as
have any
Theo
notice.
in another life. You know what I mean? Like maybe God would even give you a different opportunity to be in a better position.
And it just, I mean, talking about God, like, did God have a choice to be God? So that just shows, like, God's limitation to an extent, too. I don't know. So if God just didn't choose to be God, then there would be what? Nothing at all? Like, it's even hard to fathom. And for, like, you know, you saying that people think it's not affecting them, but that's my whole thing behind everyone is everyone. So if you think, like, whoever it is, if someone thinks that it's not going to eventually affect them, the same thing that they're coming after me for will be what they come after you for, too. It'll just be in a different way. And yeah, using the concept of names, I am you, you are me. I'm not you, you're not me. And God is you, but you're not God. This is where the God complex comes from. The distortion, yeah, just like we're all in this together. That yeah, and yeah, it's frustrating. Because I feel like something is taking advantage of us, and if it really is a person, that's good. That's just I don't know. Like, did you hear the thing, like, me and Anish were talking about, like, if I ask you to bring me everybody, and let's just say, like, there's only 4 people in the world or whatever, and it's, like, John, Julia, and Joseph or whatever, and, like, you bring me John, Julia, and Joseph, but I didn't ask you to bring me John, Julia, and Joseph.
You talked about a spoon and a fork and a knife, but
yes,
you didn't want
all yeah
of it.
I didn't want, like, a fork, a spoon, and a knife, but, like, you instinctually know that that is everything, or that a spoon is everything, a fork is everything. Yeah. Because, yeah. Everything is everything. Does that make sense to you? Is there another way to explain that we are one, to get people to work together, to bring unity, to bring utopia? Am I doing it?
I think just saying the fact that we're all humans, like humanity, that would just be it. Like, I'm not a dog. I'm like you because I'm human.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's where I'm just like, that's why we should be looking out for people to show more compassion and understanding and love, because did I choose to be alive? No.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody chose to be born.
Mm-hmm.
We all have that in common. So why don't we just treat people with respect and love?
And that's my thing.
We didn't choose to be here.
I know.
We just got put here
by our parents' action to have sex.
The least we could do is just treat people with kindness, right? Like,
yeah, it doesn't cost you a thing to be kind.
Easier, right? There wouldn't be hate crimes. There'd be kindness.
Yeah, kind, yeah. Whatever the opposite of crime is.
Kind crime. I don't know. Kind stuff.
Kind lawfulness.
There you go.
Yeah. And I think it just takes us saying that because, yeah. That's pretty much, yeah. Yep. Dave Chappelle said that too. He was like, I have a kindness conspiracy. You just do something nice for a black person for no reason at all. Yeah. And then that will just spread, so I think that's how we do it.
That's real. Like, they say how a smile spreads. Like, if you look at somebody and you smile, like, most likely they'll smile back. Mm-hmm. And then that smiling already, like, something with your hormones, like some endorphins or whatever, your body already is put in a better mood when you smile. And so if we could just, like, share love with each other in that small way. Like if you see somebody walking by, you can literally smile at them and then they're boosting their mood, therefore most likely spreading that energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like something so little as that.
Mm-hmm. A ripple effect, yeah.
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 But it also goes the other way as well. Like
Right.
I think a lot of hate, like and darkness can spread to other people. And so we have to fight that, which is hard as well.
Yeah, and I just don't think we should. Yeah, I mean, I agree. And, yep. I think we should wrap this up, though, too. And, yeah, I don't want. I guess my closing remarks would be like, I don't want people to get discouraged because the light ultimately casts out the dark, so you know, like, there is a greater force than the other one, even though they both exist.
Preach.
Tabernacle. It's from the Dave Chappelle thing.
Tabernacle?
I think that's what he says. I don't know what it means, but
the tabernacle is the thing at the church. It's like a table where they put the body and blood. Or no, or it's like where they keep the body and blood. Yeah,
that
like a little cabinet or something.
That makes sense why they would always say that at the end of the Dave Chappelle shows, the Chappelle Show.
You had no idea what we were even talking about. That's
Nope.
hilarious.
Nope.
Love it.
Yeah, yep. Alright.
Okay, bye everybody.
Alright, cuz, yep. Thanks again for being on. Yep, the one and only Sophia Smith.
I already know. Sirens next time.
Working on it. I had to do the equal heads.
Okay,
So we're good there.
Start slow.
Alright, we out. I'm stopping the recording.